Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to crochet this shell stitch. For the life of me, I could not find this stitch anywhere. I saw a picture of this stitch on a crochet top and I absolutely loved it. And I was looking for information on how to do it, and for 3 days I couldn't find anything until finally I stumbled across a pattern and I finally learned how to do it, and now I'm going to show you guys. First thing, of course, is to create a slip knot. And after you've created your slip knot, you're going to chain as many chains as you need for your project, as long as it's at least 10 chains. And after you've completed your chain, you're going to create 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. Double crochet is wrapping the yarn around the hook, putting the hook through the chain, wrapping the yarn around the hook again, pulling it back through the chain, wrapping the yarn through the hook again, pulling it through 2 loops, wrapping it again, and then pulling it through the last 2 loops. Then you're going to chain 1 and create another double crochet in the very same stitch. Then you're going to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and then go on to that second stitch and create a double crochet. Then go on to the very next stitch and create another double crochet. Then to the very next one and create 1 last double crochet. And after you're done with the 3rd double crochet, you're going to chain 1 and then again skip 1 stitch and start the pattern all over again. So you're going to create 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. Well, for the first double crochet, let me finish the first double crochet. Instead of just chaining 1, you're actually going to chain 3. 2, 3, and then create the second double crochet in the very same stitch. The reason that I only chained 1 the first time was because it was at the end. But from now on, you're going to chain 3 when you do the 2 in 1. So after you're done with the 2 in 1, you're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and then create 3 double crochets, but all in different stitches. And then the pattern starts all over again. Chain 1, skip a stitch, do 2 double crochets in 1 stitch with 3 chains in between. So that's 1 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3 chains. And then my second double crochet in the very same stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and create 3 double crochets in separate chains. So continue that pattern until you reach the end, and when you reach the end, it's a little tricky. Just try to keep to the pattern as much as you can. And once you reach the very last stitch, go ahead and chain 4. So this is what the very first row should look like. This is where you created your 2 in 1, and then your 3 in separate stitches, and your other 2 in 1. See how the 2 in 1s open up a bit? That's where you're actually going to put your scallop or your shell. So the second row is actually going to be different than this pattern that I showed you, and it's going to alternate. So every odd row you're going to do this pattern, and then every even row you're going to do the next pattern that I'm going to show you right now. So basically this is what it should look like. Your very first row should look like this. So let's move on to the second. So every time you come across one of those 2 in 1 stitches, you're going to create 7 double crochets within that stitch, and by doing that you're going to create your scallop or your shell. So after you've completed your 5th double crochet and created your scallop, you're going to chain 1 and then go into the second double crochet that you created when you did those 3 double crochets in separate stitches. See how we did 3? So you're going to go into that middle one right there. Then you're going to create a double crochet, chain 1, and then go into another one of those 2 in 1s and create a scallop by crocheting 7 double crochets within that space. And then you're just going to repeat that pattern all the way until you get to the end, and then once you reach the end, you're going to again chain 4 and then start all over again from the first pattern that I showed you. And I know that sounds very confusing, and it took me forever to figure out this stitch. So if you're more of a pattern learner, I'm actually going to post the pattern on my blog. I have the link down below, so you could look at the pattern and try to figure out by looking at the diagram. And if you don't know how to read crochet patterns, I actually have a key also posted in my blog, and I will link that below as well, so you could actually learn how to read it, because I had no idea how to read patterns, and I found these two very helpful picture links, so hopefully those help you out too. So this is how the second row should look like. Every time you had that 2-in-1 thing, you're going to make a scallop, and then in the middle of the 3 double crochets that you created, you're going to create 1 double crochet, and then just repeat the process. Now for the third row, you're going to do the exact same thing that you did for the first row, which is create 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. This is the first double crochet. Then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then create your second double crochet in that very same stitch. And by doing that, you created your 2-in-1 opening, and you know that for the next row, that's where you're going to be creating your scallop. Then you're going to chain 1, figure out which 3 stitches of the scallop are in the middle. And after you've decided, you're going to create 3 double crochets in separate stitches, so that you know on the next row, that's where you're going to be making your single double crochet in the middle stitch. Then you're going to chain 1, go to that lonely double crochet, and then create 2 double crochets within that same stitch. So that's 1 double crochet, then 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and then your second double crochet in the very same stitch. Then chain 1, go to your scallop, figure out which 3 stitches are in the middle, and create 3 separate double crochets. And then just repeat the process until you reach the end. Then again, you're going to chain 4, and then repeat the exact same pattern that you did for the second row. So right here, you're going to create 1 lonely double crochet in the middle of those 3 double crochets that you made the previous row. Then you're going to create 7 double crochets in that 2-in-1 opening to make that scallop or shell, and then you're just going to repeat that pattern until you finish the row. And then once you do, for the very next row, you're just going to alternate the patterns, and then you just keep alternating until you've reached your desired length. And by the end, it should look something like this. And again, if you're a bit lost in this video, try looking at the picture pattern that I have linked down below. And then if you still don't really understand that, then you can come back to the video and it'll probably make more sense. Thanks for watching, and be sure to click that red subscribe button if you have not already, and also give this video a big thumbs up. And if you're excited for more crochet tops, I'm actually going to make a tutorial on how to do a crochet top featuring this stitch. So stay tuned for that. I will see you next time. Bye!